Hi everyone, welcome to my video. I'm going to be taking you through my sketchbook. I've been using this Montmartre Spiral sketchbook for the last few months, and within have predominantly been using watercolour, a bit of waterproof marker, and towards the end started experimenting with a few other things like gel pens. So let's get into it.
I didn't do a title page for this, I kind of just wanted to leave it blank. So the first one I did was this little watercolour landscape. I did this with the help of a tutorial. I really loved how it turned out, and I really love the detail of these little rocks and the grasses, how it fades from the sky into the sunset, and also the sunset reflection in the lake. Second was a little still life of some grapes. I'm really happy with it. I really love the details in the grapes, the shadows, and I think it just looks really realistic. I was really feeling watercolour at this point in time. Next, I did a little sketch, urban landscape drawing of a cafe. This was a photo that I saw on Instagram. And it's a library with little books. I really like it. And this is also when I got my first waterproof marker. And yeah, I just really loved being able to play around with watercolour and a little black outline pen. This is another photo from that same Instagram account. It is, I think it's a place in Vietnam, just like a little cafe, but it really reminds me of this cafe in a town I used to live in called Taste of Home. And here I added like a little water body of some kind, and I've added the little reflections in there, and I really like how that turned out, and I really like the mood it adds. Following on from watercolors, I decided to do like a little drawing of a swamp just from memory. So I really love this one, and I really like how it turns out. I really think it captures like the essence of a swamp on a grey day. I've got the birds, the trees, they're kind of spooky, the little path going up. Yeah, it's just really cute. I think I did this straight after that one, and I was playing around with how to draw like distant figures, to add figures like walking down paths, or just like the basic form of a human walking in the shadows. And I really like this. I think it's a little bit like ominous, and I just really enjoyed the simplicity of it. So this is a little exercise that I just did, doing like little random squiggles and then just filling in around them, and I think it's quite cute. Here I again experimented with just forms of things. I personally love this one. It's a person walking their dog, and their dog is kind of like crazy psycho barking, and this painting really reminds me of my dad and a dog we used to dog sit back where I used to live. This dog was an absolute angel. I loved her so much, but she wasn't very good on the lead, and she really didn't like cats, and whenever she saw a cat she would go berserk. And this just reminds me of my dad walking this dog along a path and her going berserk at a cat. I just really like the essence and the simplicity. Here I was just trying to break out of everything having to be perfect, so I decided just to like draw some flowers and fill them in with paint. I really love going back to New Zealand and seeing all the flowers. The Hurakawa has a very special place in my heart, as I'm sure it does for a lot of New Zealanders, but this really reminds me of summer and summer holidays. For this page I really wanted to start exploring like beachy scenes, but I thought it was also like a little bit too much going on. It was just a bit full on to look at, and I wanted to make it a bit more simple, so I did this one, which I really love. I really love the bow, and yeah, just a basic bikini hanging on a line. I think it's really sweet and kind of reminds me of just being at the beach or being in Greece for some reason. Anyways, then I did another little watercolor scenery. Again, this was from just an image I saw online. Really like the waves. I especially really like the grasses and the shadows. Yeah, I just really like how it turned out. I think it's a nice little landscape. So this is the view from our backyard, and I was at home sick with COVID, and I just spent a morning outside on the deck in the winter sun and sketched out this little scene just from viewing it, just from sitting on our deck. I first drew the outline in pencil and then filled it in with black marker, as you can see, and then I went over and added in the paint and the watercolor. I also added our dog, Toru, wagging. I really like this little dog. I really just think it captures the essence of them well. And I really like how this one turned out in general. It just reminds me of being at home. So this is just a little sketch of our dog. This is, in my old office I used to be able to bring him to work, and this is just a photo I took when taking him out for a little walk during the work day. I really love this photo. It was when he was around 5 months old and he just looked really cute. I really like this watercolor. I think it looks quite a lot like him, especially like the little flick up in the eyes. He has these really gorgeous almond eyes, his little spots. I really like how the lead turned out, the spots. This harness was actually terrible. He could slip out of it really easily, and I didn't really like how the background turned out. It looks a little bit not so great, but it looks really good. Oh, he is just coming to join me. Anyways, this was just a little like experimentation with forms again. Just wanted to get used to drawing curved shapes. I really love the colors in this. It kind of reminds me of jelly beans. This is just a little like play around I did while flying. I think I was flying to New Zealand. Actually like drew it and then drew the different, like drew it as a paint by numbers and then filled it in with paint a day later, because I think it was a bit bumpy and I was getting nervous, so I just left it and filled it in, but just drew what I saw. I really love sitting in the window seat and just looking outside at the view pretty much for the entire flight.
It looks like you lost your number one.
Okay, this is on the same flight, and this was just like a little like dissection of me looking out the window, and then it also had that in front of me. So a little like perspective, weird perspective self-portrait. Okay, this is a little landscape urban drawing of photo I took in Wellington, sharp pencil, and then I went over with my waterproof black pen and then I painted it. I really liked how it looked before it was painted with just a sketch. This was a little sketch on the plane flying back from New Zealand. I don't really like how this one turned out. I like the wing, but everything else is a little bit strange. I was just sketching it as sitting in the window seat. It was kind of a nighttime flight, so they dimmed the cabin lights, hence the really dark surrounding. But I still left it in here, and I'm glad that I did, because I do really like the plane, and I think the wing looks really nice, but this section's like just a little bit strange. And then I really love shells. Said shells. So I would really love to be able to like do nice watercolors and sketches of shells. So this was my first, that's like a little goal I have. So this was like my first ever attempt at doing shells. And I like how this one like turned out okay. This was just from a Pinterest image, I think. And this one I kind of like. And then I like added all these other ones, which I'm not really a huge fan of. And then I added these little starfish, which I think cute, but it's just kind of like chaotic and crazy. But I guess that's the point of this scrapbook, just to play around. So I started to kind of get over this perfectionist thing at this point and decided just to give it a go. I think because I was already happy with the other ones that I had done so far. And then I decided just to, from memory, just do more shells. I really wanted to experiment with only using like 1 or 2 colors within the watercolor pad and trying to get definition through that, but I just really struggled to get any kind of definition with the watercolor, I think. And this is a little sketch of the view. So there was the rocks, there were a few waves, there were heaps of people swimming, some birds, and then this is just like the iPhone, like what I could see. I really liked how the form of people turned out in this, just tried to capture everyone like swimming and lying down and sunbathing in their cool cabanas. And yeah, I think it's kind of ugly, but it's also kind of sweet. This, like, I don't really like this, and the colors are very plain, but I quite like the forms of people. Along with like wanting to be able to draw seashells, I also really want to be able to draw like waves in watercolor, but it was just proving really difficult. I don't really love how this turned out. It's really washed out through here. The waves is really washed out, doesn't really have any definition. But I'm glad I left it in here. But yeah, it's just a first attempt at drawing waves. I think this was also off a Pinterest photo. Another one of a Pinterest photo. I have these like set of like markers that I've had for ages, and I haven't really ever used them, and I went through this little phase of, I think after this one and the watercolor was just like really hard and really frustrating me, I decided to leave the watercolor for a bit and do just like some pen drawings. So this is just like, I think of Pinterest, sorry. It's a little like optical illusion. I think I fucked it up here. I think this is meant to be reversed, that's meant to be black, that's meant to be white. But I really like these lines. I think it's a little bit trippy to look at. And yeah, I just really enjoyed using these. So it's like on Instagram Reels, it was like 5-minute flowers, and there was a lady teaching you how to draw like flowers in 5 minutes, and then it's just me attempting that, just having a little play. And then I decided to do a little study in drawing waves, because as I said before, I really just want to be able to draw waves and seashells. So I looked up a bunch of different photos of waves and a few like really quick tutorials, and just had to go drawing waves. I really like these 3. I think they turned out quite nice, and then just experimented with some wave forms here. This one I think really shows a powerful wave, but yeah, definitely more photos to go. Another one here, and then another one of a little sofa. It's just a little study of waves. I really like how this page, and again, the pens, I really was enjoying using the pens. And then after doing my little study of waves, I was like, I'm gonna try draw a wave surfing. I follow this artist on Instagram. I think her name's Mia Phillips. Her art is beautiful. If you haven't seen her, go check her out. Really beautiful drawings of like surfers in the water, pawa, shells, sunset, hibiscus. I just really love the vibe, and I would love to be able to paint those subjects with a little bit more accuracy. So I had to go drawing like, I think it was like a surfer in Bali. It was like another image from Pinterest, and did it in watercolor, and yeah, I don't know, I kind of hate it. I like the girl and I like the form, but the wave just looks like basic, and the background's a bit chaotic, and yeah, the watercolor just like wasn't pulling through. But I felt pretty inspired. I think this was all like in the same session, and then wanted to do like a little view of like, we live about 10 minutes walking distance from the beach, and this is what the beach looks like when you go down at sunset. Well, this isn't what it looks like, but it's my attempt of drawing what it looks like at sunset. And I used like this tape so I usually use it to get like a little border around here, but I used it because I wanted to have a really clear definition between the ocean and the sky. But it didn't really work, and it did bleed through when I did the ocean. So I don't really love how the background turned out, but I really like the leaves. I think they turned out really well. I bought this, so these are the waterproof markers that I use. And for the first half of the book, I was just using this 0.3 one. Yeah, that's it. But I was finding on this like small pad that it was a little bit thick sometimes. So a few months later, I went back and I got these 2. So I got this one, which was 0.03, really thin. So that's what I used to draw these ones with, and I really loved how it turned out. And then I also got a 0.1 of this other light grey colour. But yeah, I really liked how the leaves turned out in this, and finally had some success with the watercolour, at least in the leaves. And then I really wanted to try do another like sort of ombre but have it be a bit more successful, so I just did a quick ombre background on watercolor and then sketched over those 5-minute flowers again, and I really like how this turned out. I think it looks really pretty. So this page, I just kind of wanted to combine all my favorite things of the sketchbook so far into this like crazy chaotic page. So yeah, it turned out a little bit chaotic, but I really like it. I like the inverse of these two flowers. I love the little form of Toru. Like, I love the background, the strange person. So this is probably one of my favorite drawings in the book. I did this one while I was lying in bed, and we have this green cover, like little fluffy blanket that goes on top of our bed, and it has these like grooves, and it looks really beautiful in the sunlight. We get afternoon sun in our room, and it was the afternoon. I was just sitting on the bed, and Toru was lying like this. He lies like a little lamb, and he just looks so cute and sweet. And this is kind of the essence of what I'm talking about. Our bed, the crinkles, and Toru just lies here like a little sweet lamb. It's not perfect, but I just really love how it captured the essence of him and the blanket. I really like how it's simple and like stripped back, and yeah, this is one of my favorites. And from this point onwards, I realized I absolutely love drawing Toru. He's like such a big muse. I really like this. I think it captured the form well, the water, the splashing as he's walking in the background with the trees, and then I just like randomly out of this little like babe as a picture, kind of as what I thought he'd be thinking in his mind as he's going out for a surf. And then I was like, okay, let's try do the pen. I think I tried to recreate sort of this vibe and this feel in this sketch. So the like ombre sunset background, these little leaves, the surfer doing a little hang five. I like to think of this guy who walked up and then he became him. I don't know why his board changed color, but yeah, a little bit of waveform. I don't really love this. I think there's like way too many leaves going on, but I like the form.
I don't want to talk about it.
And then again, really inspired on this one and Toru in the form, I just did a little like study of Toru. Just really like his little silhouette when he's sitting down and we're on a walk. This is a very like Toru little look with little almond eyes, and then I tried to sketch his form just like in really simple shapes. A little bit creepy, but I like it. It's another one of him just lying on his side. His nose up close, which I think is really cute, and then him lying a little croissant. I really like this page. This is another this is a little just mountain sketch. I don't really like the colors. I think it looks a little bit ugly and not quite what I was going for, but I added this little like dog form and human walking down the mountain, which I think is really sweet. And yeah, this was just another form study. Circles, squares, triangles, fitting triangles and triangles, working on cubes. Toru again, trying to nail his form. And then I watched a like little tutorial video on perspective. Yeah. There's one of them lying around, and I just ripped out like a little scene of a surfer and tried to sketch out and highlight in the black pen just like the form of the wave and the chaoticness. And yeah, I think it's really cute. It's a scrapbook. Remember that I love like cutting out things from magazines and making a little like collage of them. So that is what I did on this page. So this is just a collage of little things I found in this magazine. I really love these two pages. I think it really captures the essence of like things I really like, things I find beautiful, little quotes that I like really believe with and resonate with. Yeah, I don't know what to say about this page. I just love it, and if I could put myself onto a page, this is, if I could put all the aspects I love about myself onto a page, this would be it. And then this is the final page. It's just a little highlighter form Toru. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you so much for coming on this little tour with me. I hope it was interesting, and yeah, I'm just really pleased that I've done this to document it for myself as well. And yeah, my favorite pages are definitely this one, the little drawing of Toru, this one, and yeah, I also really like the ones at the start as well. Yeah, I don't know what to say.